Welcome to another episode of the BPA Show. I am your host, Baugens, and this is my homie from another.
Finish it.
Finish it. Tome E. This is Coach Pat. What's up, Mike?
What up, man? How's it going?
You know, it's going great, man. I'm just trying to make up cool words that people use all the time.
Yeah, that Tommy is not a word, but we'll try again next time.
I feel Jacob Tomey. He was a football player.
Are you referring
Jim
to
Tomey?
Tomey?
Tammy and Jacob. I think I'm just gonna post this. Just put this up every time. We can't think of anything to, you know what I mean? So that's what it. Well, hey guys, welcome to another episode of the BPA Show. Today's show is gonna be a good one. We is gonna be ranking our top 5 positional offensive players in this upcoming draft. I am excited about this draft. I think it's a decent one. I don't think it's the craziest draft in the entire world. I think it has a lot of depth of a lot of good players. I don't think it's not super top heavy. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I mean, looking back at the last few drafts that we've had, this one is just, it's not as like exciting. The buildup just isn't, it doesn't feel as like energized. It's not like like I'm so excited to see like where this guy's going to go, or this guy's going to be a real difference maker in the league. It's just kind of there's some dudes in this class. Like there's a couple guys here and there, but as far as like the offensive position goes, offensive positions, I should say, this class, I feel like, quarterback is super top heavy. Running back is fairly deep and consistent. This is probably one of the deeper tight end classes that we've had in recent years. So that's really exciting. And wide receiver, wide receivers, I feel like wide receiver, tackle, and interior offensive line, those 3 positions are just kind of like a average class. Like it's just going to be a bunch of guys that there's going to be some starters here and there, but it's just going to be a bunch of guys that are going to be small contributors down the road.
I completely agree. A bunch of slots, just a bunch of slots, of slotty receivers. There's not a ton of your contested catch guys in this draft that you'd really want to.
No, there's no Julio Jones in this class. There's no Calvin Johnson in this class, man. There's some dudes that can play for sure, but it just seems like it's one of those drafts that we're gonna look back at this class. Like I think you retweeted that class that had was it Eric Fisher going for 2015. Just such a bad class, man. But at the same time, there's a couple dudes in that class that
a couple
good careers for themselves.
We were we were on the same page last year with the draft with the quarterbacks, and a lot of people compared that last draft to the 2013 draft, where it was so terrible when it came to quarterbacks. The top 2 quarterbacks were EJ Manuel and Geno Smith, which now looks pretty good. Last year, beforehand, you were looking at it like, ugh. But now, not so bad. Look at something happened. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think, when you're talking about the, every year quarterback is going to be the big topic of conversation, right? With multiple teams going through phases of quarterbacks, guys retire, guys leaving free agency, whatever. Quarterback in the draft is kind of one of those positions that's always been held at such a high regard. And I think some of the guys that we're going to talk about today, there's a couple of guys that I think will end up being solid NFL quarterbacks. But then it's just the drop off is so steep. And I don't think that we've seen one like this in quite a while. So
Yeah. So
I'm
let's
excited
go
to get into it.
get into it.
Yeah.
We'll start off with quarterback because that's what everybody's here for, probably.
What a segue. What a
What a
segue.
segue, man. We're
What a
getting good at
segue.
this. We're getting good at this. All right. So 2023 top 5 QBs. We will throw them up here. So at number 5, we got Hendon Hooker out of
Yeah.
Tennessee. Obviously, with the ACL, has been really shooting up lately. Like I've seen him in
Yeah.
mock drafts in the first round, and I guess if they make a run and with the first four, I don't think there's a lot of conversation who the top 4 are. I think it's pretty obvious. But if the top 4 go quick and a team is really QB needy, they might take a swing on Hendon Hooker, or if they're not super QB needy, but in the future going to be like the Vikings, who Kirk Cousins on the last year of the contract. You know, they're not too great and not too excited about Mond. I don't even know if he's there anymore. Actually, they might have booted him. Now that I think about it, I don't remember.
So.
But you have a Hendon Hooker that could step in, and do his thing in the future.
I think looking at Hendon Hooker is going to be one of those interesting pieces because, like we said, like this class it's not deep. There's not a lot of guys that are going to be like right away contributors, and that's fine. That's okay. If the team that is looking at someone like Hendon Hooker is preparing for that. So a team like the Vikings, a team like Seattle, a team like New Orleans, who they don't need a guy right now, but like Hendon Hooker can be good enough when he comes back from his injury. He's sat out a year. He's gotten used to, studying the offense and everything. I think that is going to be the biggest key to his transition. It's just going to be about like destination, right?
Absolutely.
He's going to have it. We've made this comparison, and now I'm seeing this comparison all over Twitter, all over draft sites and everywhere. Hendon Hooker's probably going to have a Geno Smith type career, where he's going to be this guy like, oh, we really like this dude, and hey, he can play, but it's not going to happen until he's like 28, 29. And by then he's going to have a solid 3-4 year run in the league. And I think that's fine. If he does what you need him to do in the structure of your offense, great. That's fantastic. But the offense that he came from at Tennessee, not a good offense, not a good offense at all. So I'm interested to see what Hendon Hooker can do in the league. But I think first round is, I don't like spending a first round pick on a.
I honestly think it's a bit of a reach for sure. I agree. I think you're kind of looking at like a Geno Smith, Jacoby Brissett type. Decently okay, decent mobility ish, and like an advanced Teddy Bridgewater. So number 4, Mr. Will Levis. A lot of very, very which is polarizing is the word I'm trying to bring up here.
That is the word.
Yeah. A lot of inconsistency. I was big on Will Levis going into this last off season, just the immense upside that he has, but he just never really. His consistency just never really grew as much as I would have liked it to. He has had experience in a more professional style system, but I don't know. A lot of this stuff coming out of the combine about him being immature and being very cocky is also worrisome, because it's kind of like you see that type of stuff in videos, but you don't really. You're kind of like, man, this could be out of context or whatnot, and then you start hearing a lot more about it. Is either real or there's a lot of smoke going on because someone like the Raiders want him or something.
Yeah, I mean, or someone like the Colts, maybe. I think it's I think it's really concerning to hear the things about Will Levis, but on the field, when you're looking at him from that scouting lens, I think what you see is that quarterback with great size. He's not afraid to be mobile. You see the cannon for an arm. I mean, the arm strength is insane.
Yeah.
But consistency is the key. Turn the ball over way too much. Sometimes just trying to do too much. And, you know, someone else that tried to do too much a lot and still can try to do too much, even in the NFL as he's blossomed into a star, is Josh Allen. And that's one of the comps that people have been giving Will Levis throughout this whole process, which I understand. But at the same time, I think Josh Allen is a much more explosive athlete. But the arm strength, Josh Allen had inconsistencies with his arm strength and his accuracy coming out of Wyoming, and even his first couple of years in the league. I think that it's a fair comp for Will Levis. I just really hope that the off the field, attitude and stuff like that, I hope it isn't true, because you definitely want to see guys succeed in the NFL. So
ceiling Josh Allen, floor Taysom Hill. There you have it.
I would say floor Drew Lock.
All right. Number 3. We got can't call him that anymore. Probably Anthony Richardson. I was about to call him his old name, and then I forgot.
No, don't do that.
No, be respectful.
I think 3rd is the best spot for Anthony Richardson. Not as polished as 2 or 1, but man, the tools. We've talked about Anthony Richardson on the last few shows, and
talk about all day.
If you know us, we love Anthony Richardson. It's really just all about the upside. It's all about the upside. It's all about the tools. And I'm starting to see more and more people who really weren't high on him go back and look at his game film and chart his games, and then they come away saying, he might actually be something. So the blend of athleticism, the size, the RAS score is very similar to Cam Newton. I've seen a lot of people talk about this comparison that's going on between the two. Let's make this clear. The only comparison to Anthony Richardson and Cam Newton is their athletic profile. That is the comparison, right? You watch their games, completely different players. Anthony Richardson's pocket presence is so good. He understands and he feels the pocket so well. I think that in the right situation, the right coaching, he could be probably the most successful quarterback in this class.
Absolutely. I think you are really confident in your coaching ability if you take Anthony Richardson, and you are also swinging for the biggest upside. It's just like in the era that we are in, you have to go with the tools. In my opinion, you just have to. Look at all the current successful quarterbacks in the league right now. They have multiple strengths that just pop. And Anthony Richardson is one of those, with the mobility, the arm strength, his like you were talking about, his movement in the pocket, his ability to throw off balance. Like, my gosh, if you are able to coach, if you feel that you are able to coach him up, you interview him, you like what and you obviously like the tape, and you feel like you can really groom him, then you have to swing on it. Like if Carolina is sitting there and they're like, Frank is sitting there and he's just like, I can work with this. I can make this dude good.
Yeah.
Then by God, you have to, because Anthony Richardson, I heard someone say, I don't remember who it might have been on the Draft Stock Exchange. CJ Stroud could potentially be the second to third best quarterback in a division. Same with Bryce Young.
Right.
Anthony Richardson could potentially be third to fourth best quarterback in the league if he is if he actually goes to that level where people hope he would be able to get to, because he is that talented. So
potential,
you just have to.
You got to tap into that potential. You got to tap into that potential, because there's just in a league that is transforming and transforming by the year, the need for mobile quarterbacks is higher than ever. There is probably no better mobile quarterback in this class than Anthony Richardson. The burst, the athleticism, the change of direction, all of these things make him so like the biggest threat offensively. Not to mention he's got a bazooka for an arm, and he regularly makes his rhythm throws. Great timing, great anticipation, understands how to throw through windows. It's all there on the game film. Just watch it.
And we could go on and on all day about Anthony Richardson, to be completely honest, but we will move on for now until he gets drafted number 1, and we're gonna be like, we told all you bitches. We told all of you.
Tried to tell you. You didn't.
We told all of you. Didn't want to listen. Number 2. That boy out of Ohio State, CJ Stroud. Mr. CJ Stroud is going to be pretty much a plug and play. The next 2 are going to be pretty much plug and play. I think they're going to be the most easily transferable into the NFL. That's where you might see them go 1 and 2, because that's maybe the organization is like, we don't want to mess around. We don't want to have to groom a ton. We just want some dudes that can play some football and know what they're doing. And so CJ Stroud is, I think the only reason I have him, I personally have him at 2, and you as well, that I think the completion percentage on under pressure is the big problem. When he was like high 30% under pressure, that's a big deal. He showed a lot in the playoffs. Obviously, one of his knocks was that he wasn't super mobile, but then in the playoffs he came out and he was like, well, you guys were talking shit and here it is. So then everybody's like, well, goddamn, okay, that's cool. So I like him a lot. I wish I wanted to see him in Detroit, to be completely honest, because he does remind me of a more athletic Jared Goff, and him with Ben Johnson for a year would have been great. But we'll see. We'll see where he ends up.
Yeah, I think if he does end up going to Carolina, great. That's fantastic for Frank Reich. But yeah, I think the ability to throw under pressure and the ability to operate under pressure is such a big deal when you're talking about guys going from the college game to the NFL game, because blitz packages are so different in the NFL. In the NFL game, defensive coordinators can come up with all types of creative ways to confuse you. And CJ Stroud, you got to be able to perform under pressure. And sometimes that does mean using your legs, which is just something that he didn't do on a regular basis. And I do think that's a big knock on him. I heard JT O'Sullivan talk about CJ Stroud and say, if he could play the way that he played against Georgia every game, there would be no doubt that he would be the number 1 overall pick in this class, not just the top quarterback, but the number 1 overall pick in this class.
Yeah.
And he just didn't do that until it was like do or die time. Could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. He knows when to turn it on, but operating under pressure consistently is a recipe for success in the NFL, and you got to be able to do it.
Absolutely. All right, number 1, Bryce Young. No surprise here. Bryce Young is kind of the whole package outside of obviously the
size.
Him being not huge like you would absolutely love. But the one thing that kind of annoys me about it is like, yeah, it's not great, right? It's not something you would hope for. Coming in what was he, like 170 or something, like something absolutely tiny. He came in at the combine, I'm not quite sure, which is not great, obviously not great. He's 5'10", I believe. That's not great, but at the same time, he's playing behind an Alabama line. Alabama offensive lines are not your small never going to be your small dudes, right?
No.
So those guys are going to be future NFL players. So it's not like he can't do it. You just kind of worry about his health, being hit a lot at the NFL level. You worry about a bit about him not being able to find the throwing lanes that you'd hope he'd be able to find, being that height. But at the end of the day, he's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. I think he is the most plug and play out of any of these quarterbacks. I honestly think if he was the height of CJ Stroud, it would not even be a question. He would be number 1 overall.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about the quarterback position, obviously IQ plays a big part of that. And there is no quarterback in this class with a higher football IQ than Bryce Young. Size, yeah, man. Like, you can sit here and tell me, well, he can't compete in the NFL because he's only 5'10", and
they sound like
that. And he's only 200 pounds. Okay, and he had a very good completion percentage over the middle. He's probably the most accurate passer in this class. He has fantastic touch on his deep balls. Like, just because he is shorter, he's not as small as Kyler Murray. He's around the same size as the same height as Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. So quarterbacks his size, his height, have had success in the NFL. Let's stop. If he was 5'8", 5'9", that's probably a different conversation. But I do think that. Oh, absolutely not.
5'2". Kevin Hart. If Kevin Hart was out there, problems.
5'2" quarterback. I'd love to see it. But I think for Bryce, he's probably going to be going into a situation with a team that is still going to have a lot of holes to fill. But I think that he is going to be a consummate professional from the jump. I think that he's going to wow a lot of people, honestly, in the NFL. And I'm really excited to see. He knows how to use his legs. He's mobile when he needs to be. Another guy with fantastic pocket maneuvering. Knows how to extend the play when he has to. And that is the type of guy that you want under center and leading your team. So I'm fine with Bryce being QB1. It's funny, JT O'Sullivan of the QB Academy, QB school, had this same exact top 5. Isn't that weird?
Oh,
isn't that
I actually
weird?
didn't know that. I love JT. He's a smart
Yeah,
guy.
good dude. Shout out to QB school, man.
All right, moving into running backs.
Yeah, there's going to be some controversy with this one, but hear us out, please.
Number 5, Mr. Sean Tucker.
Yeah, boy.
Out of Syracuse.
Yeah, boy.
My boy. Listen. Sean Tucker has had almost 1,700 yards in his 3 seasons at Syracuse. He can run. He can catch. His blocking is not the greatest in the world, but none of them are really in this draft.
Yeah,
maybe, Charbonnet is pretty good. There's a couple, but not a ton. Okay. Listen, if you want a dual threat, Sean Tucker is your dude. I think PFF their comp for him was Jonathan Taylor. Now it's not saying he's going to be Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying he's going to be Jonathan Taylor, but I'm saying that a lot of people are underestimating him like they underestimated Jonathan Taylor. He is a lot faster than people thought he was going to be.
Explosive.
Yep. He ran, I think he ran like a 4.4 at his pro day. Boom.
Rumored to be a 4.27. That was the rumor. His second run was rumored to be between 4.27 and 4.32, I believe.
Well, he was also in track, so that makes a lot of sense. It was even lower than I thought. Told you, bitches. Told you he was going to be fast, and he was. And I don't know. I think a lot of people have him underrated. I really don't get it. I honestly don't. When I see him, I see a very confident back. It seems like he knows what he's doing. He's a decently solid route runner. He also has decent hands. I know that some people don't like his. I think he had like seven drops or something over his career. Wasn't great, but there are also some catches that you watch and you're just like, dude has hands. Like if he can polish this up a little bit, he's going to be absolutely solid. And you're not catching him on breakaways. So I don't know. I love Sean Tucker, and I want him to go number 1 overall.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at running back, you don't want him to go number 1 overall. Don't say that.
Do it.
Don't lie to yourself. No, over Bijan? Nah.
Number 1 overall.
No, I think, I believe that Sean Tucker could be an early contributor. And I do think you're right. I think a lot of people are overlooking him. He's a fantastic player to watch. Very explosive. I like the way that he runs between the tackles. I think that once he finds his hole, yep, that we were going for he just right in there. But no, I think Sean, the hands could use some improvement. Obviously, pass pro needs some improvement, but this is a guy who could be a home run hitter for you, man. He could be a home run hitter in a 2-headed running back system. This is your lightning right here.
Absolutely. All right, number 4, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. Beast.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's the biggest dude in this top 5 for sure.
Yeah,
I think he's bigger. He's bigger. I think he's bigger than Bijan. I'll look it up while you're talking.
I mean, bigger, as in like size, or are we talking? In potential. Okay.
Oh yeah.
No, Zach Charbonnet, big back. But what I really loved about Zach Charbonnet's game was just the contact balance. He's a plus receiver out of the backfield. He's a tough runner, man. He's really hard to bring down. Arm tackles are not going to bring this dude down. He will carry you. He'll jump over you. He will go through you. He's a dude. He could be a 3-down back in the NFL. I'm going to say it. There's a couple of guys in this class, a couple of guys in this running back class that could really be 3-down backs. I think Bijan's one of those guys. And Zach Charbonnet, honestly, is 2 on that list. Just a very complete back. Obviously, a little more tread on the tires coming out of college. But as we've kind of seen in recent years, that really isn't a main concern anymore. For some dudes, if there's a lot of tread on the tires and they've suffered major injuries, to knees and stuff like that, that's a bit more of a concern. But with Zach Charbonnet, I mean, he showed his explosiveness. I thought he was going to come out last year. He didn't. That's fine. But man, when he came back this year for UCLA, he made some big plays for them and really showed that he is one of the top running backs in this class. So whatever team gets Zach Charbonnet, they're going to get a dude that they can either use him in a tandem and keep his legs fresh, or he could end up being a featured back. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, we got a couple of dudes in this top 5 that transferred and just became absolute workhorses for their teams. I like Zach Charbonnet a lot. He is inch taller than Bijan, but 1 pound lighter. That makes a difference. I like Zach Charbonnet a lot. He is your power, your gap, he is your beast of a dude. But he can still do it all. I think he needs to work a little bit on his pass pro. But besides that, I think he is your workhorse. I think he's your 3-down back. Absolutely. I could see a lot of teams. He might actually go before our number 3 pick, just because of size.
Yeah.
And now let's get to our number 3 pick, Mr. Devon Achane. Tell me about him.
Yeah, Devon Achane, track and field guy. We love speed. NFL loves speed. This is a breakaway dude. If you're looking for a running back who can just put his foot in the ground and explode through the hole and make a home run play, Devon Achane is going to be your guy. Obviously, the things that he is lacking size. He needs to got to get a little bit bigger, but he's a track and field dude. I mean, those guys are built. Just because he weighs a certain amount, just because he is 5'8",
tell him
that doesn't mean that he's not strong. This dude is explosive. You just if you want fireworks, baby, if you want fireworks, Devon Achane is going to be your dude. I think what he can offer in offense is versatility. Good receiver out of the backfield. You can use him in the slot. You can put him out wide. Use him as a mismatch against linebackers, against slower safeties, slower corners. Use him in whatever way that you feel comfortable with. He's going to give you that production. If once he gets to the NFL, gets that weight training, gets that nutrition, the size is going to come. But he could be a home run hitter, man. I like him. I know Sean Tucker and Achane are a little bit lower on people's lists, but there's a reason that we like him so much, man.
Yeah, I think there should be a Bruce Feldman, like outside of the freaks list, there should be like who is Mighty Mouse of the prospects, because this would be the Mighty Mouse. Like Devon Achane, obviously smaller, but he doesn't run like it. He is not afraid of contact. He will try to run you over. It does not matter how big you are. He will try to step on your toe and give you a little send you flying, just to make himself look cooler. And it works. If you want to go to highlight reel, this is Achane's probably got one of the best ones of the running backs in this group. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where he gets valued, just because of his size, and he is a little more, I want to say, niche. I think you could. He's decently solid in the passing game, and I think he could obviously get better at that. And that's probably where you'd want to see him utilized. I could see him more as like a Austin Eckler if he could get that figured out. But yeah, I like the upside of him. I love Devon. He's just fun to watch, real fun to watch. Yeah. All right, number 2, Alvin Kamara. No, it's not Alvin Kamara. He didn't do those things. Now we are into Jahmyr Gibbs. So in this draft class is very interesting because it's pretty tiered. You kind of have Bijan number 1, then you have Jahmyr Gibbs, and then you kind of have everybody else. Someone would put a number like a tier 3 and then kind of drop off, but it's still a super deep class. Like if you need a running back, that's why I made free agency for running backs so weird, because it's just like, I don't know what the value is anymore. Like $10 million tag, or just pick one in the draft, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy time to be. It would be a crazy time to be in running back. That's why Zeke's like, so yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, solid in the pass game. The top 2 here are going to be they're very good in the passing game. The reason I said Alvin Kamara, because if you haven't watched any of his tape, he reminds you a lot of Alvin Kamara.
A lot like it.
Yeah, I could see him being the only other running back in this class that might go first round.
Yeah, I think tail end of first round is where you might see some of those running back needy teams who are looking for an extra threat in their offense, maybe go up and get Jahmyr Gibbs, especially with Bijan potentially being gone top 10, maybe. But when we say he's Alvin Kamara 2.0, okay, what does that mean? You know, he's not the biggest back in the world, but very explosive, can turn the corner very well, amazing production in the passing game. And just the biggest draw of him to the Alvin Kamara comp is the contact balance, the way that he's able to work in the open field, the way that he can make defenders miss or just power through tackles. He's a guy who's not going to get pulled down. You're not going to be able to arm tackle him. He's going to get through him, or he's going to stay up. there's plenty of instances on film where he's fought through 2 linebacker tackles and still stayed up. So I think outside of our number 1 guy, I think that this guy is probably the next best thing in this class. Is he going to be a 3-down back in the NFL? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think there's some potential that he could be, but I think that he's more suited for that 2-back system. Use him more as a receiver out of the backfield, and in some of those zone situations. Get him in an outside zone system. He'd be fun to watch. He's got great footwork, man. Great footwork.
Absolutely. Speaking of good footwork and everything else, Bijan Robinson is number 1.
Jeez.
Best prospect we've seen since Saquon Barkley. I'm sure you heard it before. His comp is Saquon Barkley. He's not bad at anything. I think he had a little bit of a fumbling issue for a second or two. It's nothing crazy. He's just, I don't know. He's just your all around back. Like if you were to make a prototype of a running back, this is who you want. He is a 3-down back. He is a mismatch nightmare. Any team in the NFL could use a Bijan Robinson right now. I don't care what team it is and what running back you have. You could easily draft Bijan Robinson and potentially get yourself out from under some other running back contract that you have because you have Bijan Robinson on a rookie deal.
Yeah, there's not much to say about Bijan, man. He really is a complete package. Great runner between the tackles. I think that he could fit in a multitude of different run schemes. Solid receiver out of the backfield. Powerful back. He's got the speed. He's got the breakaway speed. He's got the explosiveness. He's got power. He's got balance. He's got hands. He's good in pass pro. Like, he is the complete package. Keep him healthy. Teach him how to run a little bit harder, and this dude is going to be a bell cow in the NFL, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the league. I think that he and his running back mate there at Texas, Roschon Johnson, I think the two of them are going to be really fun to watch in the NFL. And whatever team, Philadelphia, that picks Bijan Robinson, he's gonna add an entire wrinkle to your offense. He's gonna be the guy that teams are gonna look at and say, "Hey, we got to stop this guy. We cannot let this guy get going, because if we do, it's only a matter of time before he explodes."
He's one of those guys that you don't necessarily need the best offensive mind in the world to make him look good, but at the same time, you kind of hope you do, just so you can watch magic happen, like him in a Shanahan style system, just making babies all over the field, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right.
On the field?
Well, on the field and off the field. Here we go. Wide receivers. Transition. Segue.
My God.
All right. Number 5. This might be a little controversial, but we're going with one of our only other big-bodied contested catch receivers in this draft, and that is Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman is an absolute beast, and I don't think gets enough credit for it. He is very long, big, can just put cornerbacks like heads, like does one of these things, puts them like underneath here and just oh
my God, like that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see him working very well in somewhere like the Ravens, where you have like a Todd Monken there who likes his big receivers.
Sure.
Yeah, in a class with so many slots, this dude could just kind of stands out above the rest. Him and obviously the guy we're going to talk about later, Quentin Johnston, being like the only two big dudes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cedric Tillman, 6'3", big body receiver, 6'3", 213, ran a 4.5 40. I think that he has the skill set to be an X type receiver in the NFL. I would like to see him maybe not have that much pressure on him. Getting into the NFL, he's going to face a lot tougher competition. Playing in the SEC, you face a lot of tough corners, obviously. But in that offense, in Tennessee's offense, is a lot of option routes, and it's like, okay, you're just going to run this, and that's it. There's no like rhyme or reason as to why, so seeing him in an NFL offense is probably what is going to make me, think about like, is he actually ready for this league? I think the skills are there. I think the hands are there. I think the speed is there. Is he going to be that type of guy in the NFL? Is he going to be an X receiver in the NFL? Time will tell.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a ton of. Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know if I see necessarily any of these receivers in this draft being a wide receiver 1 outside of Quentin Johnston. Maybe. I think he's the only one that could, even Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Jordan. If Jordan Addison could stay healthy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe.
Speaking of which, Jordan Addison, stay healthy. I think going into, I know, when healthy, he is a force to be reckoned with. I'd probably say second best route runner in this draft.
He's smooth, very smooth,
super smooth, knows how to get open, plenty of speed. Just a pro receiver. There's not like a lot to tune up at the next level. I feel for him, he's just very smooth, very clinical. I could see him easily going number 1 or being the first wide receiver off the board. It just depending on how a team, medical team
values
feels he's at.
Yeah, I think with Jordan Addison, there's a few things that concern me. The main thing being the health concerns, the injury concerns. The other one being the drops. Just the size, man. It's just size. We know he's explosive. He's a 4.4 guy. Great. That's awesome. Fantastic route runner. He knows how to play with DBs and find those empty spaces. I'm trying to think of a word. There's an actual term for it that we use. But my biggest concern is just the consistency. He's not that consistent of a receiver. A lot of bad drops when he was at Penn State. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him at USC, but the things that we did get to see were great.
Mm-hmm.
The route running, the ability after the catch, the explosiveness, all those things are fantastic. But when you can't consistently perform on the field and you can't consistently stay healthy, those are issues. If he was healthy, if he had played a full season, and he really put up the numbers that we wanted to see, I think that there is a valid conversation that he could be right up there with Johnson or Smith and Jigba. Obviously, those guys have different tool sets, but I think Addison can still offer you a lot. He can perform as a Z receiver. He can perform in the slot. So it's just a matter of staying consistent and staying healthy.
Yep. I agree. Absolutely. Number 3, we got the Yak himself, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is like a mini Debo. He's when I say mini, he's just because he's small. He's not a big dude, but he's pretty. He's got a little yoked on him. He's not afraid of contact. He's got decent hands, and you just give that. This is one of those guys where you just give him the ball and just watch what he do. Straight up.
Yeah, I love Zay Flowers. Been watching him for years. Great route runner. Great after the catch. Size limitations, but you're going to use this guy out of the slot. So size really isn't the biggest concern when you're talking about a slot guy. Footwork is insane. And he's probably my favorite wide receiver in this class.
Yeah, I would honestly have to agree with you. And then to another slot, we got another boy from Ohio State. I mean, they seem to kind of just pump out these receivers. It seems like over the
Brian
last
Hartline.
few years. I know it's
Brian Hartline, man.
absolutely ridiculous.
Great
And
coach.
who was it that was saying that was it? It was oh my gosh, Chris. Why am I Chris Olave and who else was it? Garrett Wilson were both saying that when they asked who was the best receiver they had been played with, and it was Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is funny because like a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think that, but like, dude is obviously the leader in that pack, and he is an absolute stud of a route runner. It was weird because for a while there, it seemed like he was like the number one receiver for a while. It just seemed guaranteed. And then people fell off for a while, and then now they're back again. I don't know. It's just kind of how the draft how the whole draft thing goes. Yeah, how the whole process goes.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's a nuanced route runner. He's not the fastest guy. He's agile. He can move very well. Very smooth. Not super explosive. Not the fastest dude. But runs great routes, doesn't drop the ball, and he knows how to finish. This is a guy he is a big performer. He's had games of over 200 yards receiving. He's a guy that offensive coordinators want. He's a guy that offensive coordinators want. That's a guy who you know how to get open. Quarterback, whatever quarterback gets him is going to absolutely love him because they study timing. They understand getting that neck around and getting the hands up. They understand how to do that. Brian Hartline is doing a great job with Ohio State wide receivers. I'm excited to see Smith and Jigba play in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be the guy that you put outside for, one-on-one matchups and stuff like that. He's a guy that you're going to want to move around, use him
inside, get open.
Yeah. Give him space, allow him to work, let him get outside and get you those chunk plays, man. That's what he's going to be good at.
Absolutely. And then to number one, our only other contested catch guy, Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston is I think he was underutilized at TCU. I'm not like a big Max Duggan guy. And I think he'll have a lot more opportunity in the next level to really show what he has. And I think he's already shown what he has enough. He has a lot more mobility, especially in yak wise. For his size, I love his whip around move. Like as soon as he makes contact with the ball, he'll all of a sudden just jerk around and just hope to God that that's not the side that the DB is on. And then he's gone. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I think yak is going to be his game in the league. It was his game in college. He's not the contested catch guy. He's not the Julio Jones, but he's big. He's explosive. He's got that burst. I think that he's a guy that you just want to get the ball in his hands. Don't let him be that 50-50 guy because it's just not his game. But I do want to see him be a little more aggressive in the league, though.
Yeah. I think he can be 50-50 if he eventually, maybe he gets trained up a little bit because he has a size for it. He just needs to put a little bit more weight on it and really because he kind of reminds me
confident. He doesn't seem that confident in it. He doesn't get the hands up quick enough. Like he lets DBs be physical with him. Like absolutely, you are a big dude. Like Julius Brents is a big corner as well, but like you got to be strong enough and consistent enough to really want to do that. There's multiple instances in his game film where it's just like, bro, like why didn't you even try for this ball? Like it just seemed like, oh, I put my hands up. Oh,
should be good enough.
Yeah, I'll walk.
I get it. All right, moving on to what's next? I don't even know. Tight ends. Moving on to tight ends. Number 5, we got our boy Sam Laporta out of Iowa. Sam Laporta is kind of the guy that you can do it all at a decently high level. I think he's more athletic than people want to put off. He's a solid in pass or in run blocking. I don't know. I think he's very underrated. Actually, I think he's a very balanced tight end.
Yeah, I think that he might end up being the surprise guy out of this class. Iowa knows how to coach those boys up in blocking. So it didn't surprise me that Sam Laporta was a decent blocker in college, but man, the athleticism that this guy has, he's got that hidden talent. And I think he could really surprise some people.
Absolutely. Number 4, on to Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. Strong receiver. Yeah. Very strong receiver. Block willing, decent blocker. I could see him being a very solid position position receiver tight end, if that makes sense. Like get me the 2-yard first down. Like that's
we call that a U. We call it a U. So there's the Y. The traditional tight end is going to be your Y. That's going to be your Y guy. The U is going to be your guy that, you don't want to use him in blocking situations. Like you can, but you don't want to. But he's the guy that can be that receiving offensive threat. And that's where I see Dalton Kincaid is. He's as a deep threat as a tight end. That's a crazy skill set to have. His athletic profile is really great. Want to see him get a little more size and strength going into the league, but I think that his ceiling as a receiving tight end is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's high.
Number 3, Luke Musgrave, a Beaver. You love Oregon State, right?
Rev those chainsaws. Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring.
You like him so much, you talk about him.
Now, I think that I think Luke Musgrave is an interesting option at tight end. He offers a lot more athletically than I think a lot of people realize. He's a much better athlete than a lot of the guys in this class, really. Again, willing blocker, not the best blocker, but a very willing blocker. His threat is going to be those intermediate, the outbreaking routes, anything that flow, like play action flow plays that go to either side. He's going to be that guy, show block, leave. He's going to be that guy, dump it off 2 yards, dump it off from 2 yards away. He's going to get you 10. Loves to fight for extra yards. We'd love to see that. Tough dude, physical after the catch. I think that there's a chance that he could go. He could end up being a first round dude. I would be very shocked if he was. But I think second round, perfect spot for him.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that I was really happy got to be at the Senior Bowl because he didn't get to play a ton at all. Or not much at all. So it was good that he got to show one that he was healthy and one that he was productive. He's definitely a receiving threat. That's his main jam. He showed a little bit more blocking at the Senior Bowl as well, which was good to see. I definitely could see him being one of the top 2, maybe 3 tight ends off the board. Yeah. On to the beast, Darnell Washington out of Georgia. What do you even say about this dude? 6'7", I think 6'7" or 6'8". He's a monster and he's leaped over people. That's what you should know. He's 6'7" and he can jump over DBs. Figure that shit out. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. So, super powerful athlete. He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the speed. We know that. There's been times where like his one-on-one blocking with edge rushers has been meh, but I think that's something that can be easily coached up at the next level because his blocking in space is absolutely insane. In the screen game, I love to watch him just get out in the open field in front of a wide receiver or running back on a jet sweep. And just like, you just see the DBs like hesitate a little bit. They're like, fuck, man, this guy's big as fucking, he's just running right at me. And Darnell Washington you ever seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Yeah.
You know that meme?
He's the meatball.
Just like,
oh yeah.
that's Darnell Washington. Just like, I'm about to blow your shit up, boy. Like,
I don't want that. Yeah. Yeah. They just get out like when Trent Williams be coming around a corner. He's just another offensive lineman out there, really, that
It
can
really is.
run fast and catch the ball.
Yeah.
All right, on to number 1, Michael Meyer. Not Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise, but Michael Meyer that will
Yes,
be
thank you for clarifying.
killing every mismatch forever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I love his game a lot. He's the most well-rounded tight end in this draft, in my opinion. He
Mhm.
was Notre Dame offense.
Yeah.
So I just love him a lot.
Yeah, he is one of those guys that, you know, he's gonna he's gonna be a good NFL tight end. He isn't the best blocker. Like, he's not the strongest blocker, I should say. He's not the strongest blocker, but he's willing to block and he understands blocking concepts. But what I really love is his receiving ability. I love his contested catch ability. I love how tough he is after the catch. And he can be a leader if he wants to. But I think blocking needs to improve. Route running could stand to improve a little bit. And I think he could be a key contributor as a rookie. I really do.
Absolutely. Homeboy had over 2,000 yards receiving. I think he'll be able to contribute a little bit. Probably day one for a lot of, I mean, even though tight end is one of the hardest adaptable positions, I still think he's going to be him. And I really want him in Cincinnati. I just think that would
be awesome. I think
such a
it'd be
great
great.
fit.
It's a perfect fit.
All right, interior boys, the big boys. Show some respect. Show some respect. Number 5, our boy, Mr. We haven't heard about him in a while for some reason. I don't know. It's gone quiet on the Cody Mock front. I don't
really
understand.
has.
Cody Mock is amazing. Played left tackle over in NDSU. He also went to the Senior Bowl, and they played him at all 5 offensive line positions.
Yep.
And which is okay, cool. Yeah, sounds great.
And he
So
wanted
insanely, yeah, he wanted to.
to.
Insanely versatile. Could be potentially the best. I think one of the best guards in this entire draft. Could obviously he's in the top 5, but could be potentially the best interior guard out of this draft just because of one, he's probably the most athletic. No, he definitely is. He's the most athletic out of the 5 in this group. So yeah, Cody Mock's my boo.
Yeah, I love Cody Mock. I love the versatility that he brings. Love the passion that he brings, and I love his technique, man. He's very technically sound. A lot of power, a lot of athleticism. A little undersized if you wanted to play him at tackle, but I think he'd be a perfect guard or center in the league.
Steve Avila, number 4, played guard and center at TCU. Also the versatility thing. I think with a lot of these interior guys, that's what you're going to see a lot because that's what the most value is, where the value is really. Strong, dude.
And
beast
nasty.
of a human, and nasty. Beast of a human.
He's got a nasty streak, man, and he knows how to use it.
Yep.
I love watching his game, man.
Number 3, JMS, our boy. Probably the best center in this draft. I know that I'm a big Joe Tippmann fan, but I still think JMS is probably the best center in this entire draft. He came in and he was already moving up the boards early before the offseason, and then Senior Bowl came around and he just absolutely dominated and everybody absolutely loved him. And I mean, he's just watch his tape. He's good all around. Yeah.
Very, very sound blocker. Love to see him work up to the second level. It's a lot of fun to watch. Good blocking in space. Knows how to create lanes for his running backs. I think that this is a dude that maybe we see picked at 20. Maybe.
Yep. Maybe. I think he has a good possibility for being in the first round. If anybody needs a center, he will be the first guy. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on to Osiris Torrance, guard for Anthony Richardson. Yeah. That's all that matters.
No sacks. No sacks. None. Zero.
Yeah.
He's a big man. No sacks. He moves
wall.
very well for his size.
And he's gone against Jalen Carter. So,
No sacks.
so that should say something. Number one.
It's gonna. This is controversial.
Yeah, it's
this is
hella
a controversial one.
Listen, Peter Skoronski came in barely at 32 inches at the combine, and
For his arms,
through his penis size. Historically, under 33 inches is like that's a benchmark for most every NFL or NFL organization. I don't care what anybody says. That's a problem. I understand that he performed in college, but when you get to all these lengthy dudes in the NFL that are going to get to your chest real quick with them longer than 32-inch arms, it's a problem. So big problem. He does have a very strong base though, so he can recover decently well. He is probably one of the strongest base, if not the strongest base in this draft, as far as the interior offensive lineman. Now interior offensive lineman. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what teams decide to do with him.
Yeah, I've said this before. I don't think that he's meant to play tackle in the league. I think he's better suited as a guard at the next level. I think that would just be the perfect spot for him. The length is really concerning. Watching his tape, he was getting pushed back by linebackers, by 7th round defensive linemen. So not ideal, not what you want to see, but I think the athleticism, I think the strength, and I think the power at the next level make him suitable to be a guard rather than a tackle.
And finally, the tackles.
Yes.
Number 5, the Darnell Washington of offensive tackles. That would be Dwan Jones, Mr. 6'8", what was it? 89-inch wingspan or something like that.
Insane.
Something just absolutely like a massive human being. Like obviously that comes with downfalls, like not as quick as you would like off the snap, being able to keep up with your speed rushers off the edge. But on anything power or anything where he doesn't have to move a ton, like it's going to be real tough getting around him. Real tough. He just gets one shot to your chest, and that's it.
Yeah, the wingspan is absolutely insane. A lot of people have been talking about, well, he's that big. How is he going to be able to move that well in the NFL? Well, he was recruited to play basketball, good sir, and he was pretty dang good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he would be a fun right tackle to watch at the next level. You want to see his reaction time improve a little bit more, but I think that he'd be a dude for some team at the next level.
Number 4, Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. Mr. Thick Mitts is what I like to call him. Tends to grab a lot. He like, and you're not gonna get loose. He's gonna come at you. He's gonna grab both outside your shoulders, and good luck. That's what's going to happen. Also a giant human being, 6'6", I believe. Just massive human being. Actually quicker than you would think he is for his size. I would say he has more better mobility than Dwan Jones. That's why we have him a bit higher here. But yeah, I think he's going to be starting right tackle at the next level. Both him and Dwan Jones are primarily just right tackle. Darnell tried a bit of left and definitely more of a right guy.
Yeah, people have been on Darnell Wright for a while now throughout this whole process, and I get it. The power's there. Once he gets his hands on you, you're pretty much done. Sometimes he can be a little slow off the snap. Again, just a reaction thing, or just a cosm of Tennessee's horrible offensive scheme. But I really like Darnell Wright. I think he's going to be a dog at the next level, man.
Number 3, Broderick Jones out of Georgia. I think you're looking at a big dude. He's just a big, strong dude.
Athlete.
Very big. Oh, okay. Okay, big, strong, athletic dude. That's who Broderick Jones is. At first, when I was watching him, he headbutted people. Now he has developed a lot more, and you just watch film of him just like running down the field and taking out multiple dudes at once.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun to watch. And I think he is. If he gets teched up a little bit, he's going to be absolutely insane at the next level.
Yeah, super. I mean, just a super raw athletic talent.
Mhm.
I
Highest
think
ceiling, I think.
Ve-
I would
very.
say highest ceiling of the tackles.
What is with number threes on these lists and having really high ceilings? Yeah, I think. Yeah, Broderick Jones is just an athletic, large human playing left tackle. I think that there's so much refinement that can come from that, and I think that with the right coaching and the right environment, he could turn into a really fun left tackle to watch. I'm really excited to see where he goes. Definitely a first round dude for sure. Just pure. I mean, do you remember? You remember when Garrett Bowles came out of Utah and the talk was like, "Oh, this guy's just athletic. He's just athletic, and really raw, but like, technique wise, but just needs to someone needs to hone in that athleticism." That's how I feel about Broderick Jones. I feel like he's a little bit further along than Garrett Bowles was, even at a younger age, but the athleticism aspect of it, that is what you're going for.
Number 2, Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got a couple of guys that I like. I really like Wanya Morris too. Wanya Morris from Boys to Men on at Oklahoma as well. Wanya Morris is a very solid tackle that I think will. I'd say he'd be more of a swing tackle at the next level. Super solid as far as technique. Decent strength. The top 2 guys aren't the strongest guys out of this bunch. They are definitely more pass pro aces than they are run blocking for sure. But their technique is kind of what makes them stand above the rest, in my opinion. He's only allowed 4 sacks in his entire career, collegiate career, which is decently impressive. So I like Anton a lot. I know that we're probably higher on him than some others, but I think these top 3 is going to be primarily what you're going to see, depending on if they have Peter Skoronski in the top 3.
Yeah, and tackle. In regards to Anton Harrison, I think that he's another guy. Once he gets his hands on you, you're done. Yep. I love the vision. I think he could stand to be a little quicker off the ball. Again, just one of those nitpicky things, but blocking in space also is something that I think he could improve upon. But love the size, love the technique, love the strength. I think that he's going to be a pleasant surprise at the next level as well.
Number 1, PJJ, Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State. What a
technique, dude!
Dude,
technique.
I think this draft in general isn't the greatest when it comes to tackles, but I think Paris Johnson Jr. it kind of stands alone for me as far as just being like majority of everything you'd want in a tackle. Including off the field. The dude is an immensely awesome human being, already has his own organizations. Like it's ridiculous. The dude is a great human being, a great player, and I think he has a lot of potential at the next level.
Yeah, could play either right or left side, after seeing some more of his footwork. Yeah, just very sound technique wise. Love his vision, love his nastiness as well. I mean, he's got an attitude, man. He's had one since high school. I saw a viral video of a high school football player from like 5 years ago, I think, came back up. And I was like, damn, this video looks familiar. I've seen it before. It was Paris Johnson Jr. Some guy tore his helmet off and then he proceeded to just pile drive that dude into the dirt. It was awesome. So
he's past that now, but I like that it's in him.
Yeah. You got that dog in him, man.
He got that dog in him. He got that dog in him. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Top 5 for each position. Let us know in the comments what you think. Hold up. Woo!
Bless
Let
you.
us know in the comments what you guys think.
Shut
Oh
up,
wait,
Frankie.
why both
Shut
of you
up.
guys on this podcast so cute? But stop it! You coming in here all late and shit. Everybody check us out on YouTube, the BPA Show. We're also on the MHRT network. Thanks for watching. I'm Mr. Boggins, and this is
Coach Pat
Deuces.
signing off.